Hey, welcome back to World Entertainment. And the Rey movie, yeah, you know, the future of the Jedi, well, it's once again on hold. That's right, it doesn't seem to be moving forward anytime soon. And remember, this is the movie that's meant to bring back Daisy Ridley as Rey and was meant to kick off the next big screen era in the franchise. And apparently, it's just run into more development chaos and everything else. And they do not seem to be able to get anyone on board with this thing. They don't seem to have any writers. Nobody really seems interested in taking over. But we'll have a look at this article that talks about this, because this is no surprise to anyone at this stage. And realistically, if you ask me, the Rey movie is Lucasfilm's version of Marvel's Blade movie, which, yeah, they announced so long ago. Yeah, they brought the actors out onto the stage and went, look who we got, and nothing has happened.
Oh, okay.
So let's have a look at this anyway. So it's saying, there have been conflicting reports about the status of the untitled Star Wars movie from director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy doing the rounds since late last year. I think you mean since it was first announced. We had heard that New Jedi Order, as it seems to be getting called, was a priority at one point, but it seems Lucasfilm may have made the decision to put the project on the back burner again. According to scooper Daniel Richman, the Rey movie is on hold once again, as both the Sean Levy and James Mangold Star Wars films are moving forward first. The project is not cancelled, just temporarily on hold. Now, that's an interesting statement to say. It's not cancelled, it's just temporarily on hold. This thing got announced how long ago at this stage? Is it like 4 years ago now at this stage? 3-4 years ago? To say it's temporarily on hold when we were told the Rey movie was to be the first Star Wars movie back on the big screen since Rise of Skywalker, and instead we've got Mandalorian and Grogu coming first. Then we've reportedly have the James Mangold movie after that, then the Sean Levy movie after that, or vice versa for those two. So either one of them could be happening. And then we get announced all these other ideas for Star Wars movie projects. None of them are the Rey movie. But it continues saying, this probably shouldn't come as much as a surprise, since a new writer was never officially assigned after Stephen Knight parted ways with the project. This doesn't necessarily mean we won't be seeing Daisy Ridley's Rey back in a galaxy far, far away anytime soon, however. In a recent report from THR, claimed that Rey is the key to the franchise's future. Not only is she expected to appear in the new trilogy that's in the works from writer and producer Simon Kinberg, but several other projects, though which ones are not clear. A source told the site, she is the most valuable cinematic asset, in some ways maybe the only one Star Wars has right now. My God, is that a statement? Who said this to THR? It had to be someone like Mike Zero. To say that Star Wars, the entire franchise, hinges on one character, and that character is Rey Palpatine, even though everyone's trying to say Skywalker, is ridiculous. So your asset to try and secure the future of the franchise is the very thing that killed the franchise. Gotcha. So it's saying THR's report also suggested that Kinberg's trilogy might end up having an impact on New Jedi Order's development, saying Rey, the scavenger turned Jedi played by Daisy Ridley in the last 3 episode movies, is key to the franchise's next turn. That potentially puts Kinberg's trilogy story development, as early in its conceptual stages as it may be, on a collision course with the Rey standalone movie that is actively in the works with director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. Ridley addressed her return as the powerful Force wielder during an interview with Premiere last year, explaining why she ultimately decided to reprise the role. This is hilarious. This is her reason for coming back. They simply asked if I wanted to do it, based on an idea without the script being written yet. But if I hadn't been convinced by the concept, the movie wouldn't have been made. Newsflash, Daisy, it still hasn't been made. I took a day to think about it, and I told myself that I had a great time making those films. This new adventure seemed fun to me, so why say no? My thoughts on the subject are quite simple. If I didn't think the story was worth telling, I wouldn't have come back.
That is one big pile of shit.
Everything about her statement makes no sense. I was thrilled by the idea of the story. What story? There is no story. The fact that you say the concept. So they gave you an idea, they didn't give you the story. Because they don't have a story. They have no script. The fact that you're like, why would I say no? The concept of it alone was so good it brought me back. Why then did you have to take a day to think about it? You don't have to think about it if it's so fantastic that you're immediately on board with it. What she was meant to say is, they asked me and told me how much they would give me to come back, and I was like, well, no one else has hired me, of course I'll come back for that paycheck. That should have been her answer, because that is the answer. She's not getting the work she thought she was going to get. She's not getting the money she thought she was going to get. Here's the way back in to a franchise where she's going to get paid big bucks by Disney. That's why she decided to come back. It's not because she was convinced by the concept of a movie. Nobody is signing on to projects for the concept when there's no script and you can't even lock down a writer. So, no, you didn't come back for that idea. You came back for the paycheck and some work. That is why. And look, I would do the same thing, especially if I'm in that industry and I'm starting not to get work and the pay they're offering me is the low end of things, and a massive franchise like Star Wars comes back knocking on my door. Yeah, of course I'm taking that paycheck. The problem is, though, nobody cares. Nobody's asking for the movie. Clearly, Disney have no ambitions for this movie to get pushed as quickly as possible because it's on hold again. Just face facts. It's not happening. It was never going to happen. From the moment they announced this thing, we were all the ones sitting there going, yeah, this movie's never happening. And now everyone that came out and said, but they brought Daisy Ridley onto the stage. What difference does that make? They brought Mahershala Ali onto the stage and announced Blade. That was over 6 years ago now. And they still don't even have a writer for that movie. What makes you think this movie's gonna happen? It ain't gonna happen. It was never gonna happen. Your savior for the franchise isn't the thing that killed the franchise in the first place. So, yeah, it ain't happening. So, with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.